Hey everyone, happy almost halfway mark with baby number 4 here. I thought it was finally time I put together a brief video. I've been talking a lot about it in my social media stories, but I wanted to do a video that was just able, to share and post and have be permanent about something that I have been drinking for about 3 months now. So the reason it's pretty exciting to be making a video now at the 3-month mark is because it's something that really kind of works its way from the inside out on improving so many different things for you. So the 90-day mark is kind of when people are told like, hey, like this is when you'll see peak results. I actually started to see results way sooner. Otherwise I might not have stuck it out because it's not the cheapest thing in the world. Anyhow, it's called Happy Juice, and I'm actually gonna just mix them together while I'm talking. And it's 3 different ingredients. So it's this Edge, which there's a couple different flavors. There's a grape and a watermelon. And then there's an Energy, which actually has a caffeine-free version, but even the caffeine version is like 40 or 50 milligrams, so it's not that much. It's from matcha, so it's not from like coffee or something. So I'm gonna just put a smidge bit of water and then add these. So anyhow, I was certainly not on the hunt for anything new. I was about 6 weeks pregnant when I happened upon this on social media. And for me, all my pregnancies, my first trimester is very exhausting, as it is for most people, and nauseating, all of the things. But I was just like extra exhausted, like out of this world exhaustion is how I kept wording it to my husband and sisters. I was just like, actually not my sisters, because I waited a while until I told them. So I was just kind of quietly suffering of just not even being able to stay awake. And I have 3 other kids who are 5 and 3 and 1. So that was really hard. And from a mental standpoint, I had actually, okay, this is the Mentabiotics. Whoops. Mentabiotics, which I am not a scientist, so I don't explain this super well. I thought of like printing out some like facts, but I'm just gonna tell it to you in my layman's terms. This is like a combination of prebiotics, probiotics, phytobiotics, and when you look at the sciencey videos from the company, it explains how these prebiotics and probiotics are working together to, kill off bad bacteria, but also replenish anything good that it killed off. And essentially what this drink is doing, so you do all 3 of these ingredients to make the Happy Juice, it's called. I don't even know if I said that. So the company is Amare and the drink is called Happy Juice. So you mix all 3 of these together, and you don't want to like pre-mix them, because the way it all compounds together, you want to like mix it when you're about to be drinking it. And then ideally you want to drink it within like an hour, just for the best results. So anyway, these Mentabiotics are a combination of all those different strains, and what it's all doing is directly addressing what's going on in your gut. And I have known for a long time that our gut health determines so much about our body, our mental wellness, our nervous system, our ability to handle stress. We carry so much cortisol in our gut. Like that alone is just one thing that it does, is dramatically reduces the cortisol levels and actually increases serotonin levels, which is why it's called Happy Juice. And so by directly addressing the root of the problem, what it is, the like patented term is the gut-brain axis. So it's literally addressing that issue, and especially as overstimulated, overwhelmed mothers who can deal with a lot over a long period of time, but we kind of just grin and bear it. And what we don't realize is that is what is contributing to our irritability, our agitation, our adrenal fatigue, like all of the issues and problems that most moms experience. Some of them are experiencing it very publicly. Some of them are silent sufferers. And what this all does is directly addresses that and heals it and fixes it. So anyways, 6 weeks pregnant, I'm reading this and I'm like, that sounds pretty cool, but it sounds a little too good to be true. I'm like totally a skeptic, especially once I saw the price. I just was like, that's probably not for me. An added thing when I'm first trimester pregnant is that Okay, I'm gonna mix this up. It might be loud for a second. Look at that frothiness. Okay. I am definitely like an anti-texture person, so I always want to make sure I didn't leave anything down at the bottom. Okay, so when I am pregnant, I can't handle coffee. And so going from, you know, suddenly having the pregnancy symptoms and then like caffeine withdrawals, not being able to drink coffee, I was beyond exhausted. And so I saw this as like, hey, maybe I just do this while I'm going through these first couple months of the first trimester, kind of see how it does. And let me tell you, one added aspect is that I don't know if it was the pregnancy hormones or just being back home again from, I was working full-time for 7 months, like full-time, usually gone like 50 to 60 hours a week. So badly wanted to be back home. Finally was, shortly after returning home, found out about the pregnancy, which we were absolutely thrilled with. But of course, all the symptoms, you know, quickly came along. And I was starting to get some really like overwhelming feelings and mood swings. And this is all just to put it lightly because this is a video that I will be posting. And so if anyone wants to talk to me directly about that, I will, because it was getting to a point where I was like really questioning myself, thinking, why am I feeling almost like ungrateful, even though I knew I was so grateful to be home with them. But it was almost like when I was working, I just kind of stifled so much like long-term stress because I just had to get through it. And then once I was home again, in the typical very overstimulating mom life of like, you know, mom, and poopy diapers and yelling and fighting and screaming and breaking things and spilling things, it was like I suddenly had no tolerance for it. And it was so hard on me to be struggling with that because I was like, I want to be home with my kids. I don't understand this feeling, like what is happening? And then being so tired didn't help. So what I was hearing and reading and watching all these testimonials about this was not just, you know, reducing cortisol and like all of that, but literally helping people with anxiety, depression, like all of the extreme things. People were going off of medication because of this drink, yada, yada. So I said, okay, let's just pull the trigger and try it and see. So I ordered the drink and I started drinking it. And let me tell you, the very first thing I noticed was that I had energy again. I was like, okay, hang on, where's my little straw? I was like, okay, this is definitely good because I can actually drink this. Like, it tastes good to me. It's sitting well with me. Anytime I tried coffee again, stomach pains, like all these things. So I was like, okay, well, this is good. And then after about a week or two, I was starting to notice that I wasn't having those like irritable emotions and the mom rage and the lack of patience. And I forgot to mention that at this time, my husband was working from 5 a.m., going straight from work to school and coming home at 10 p.m. from night school. Bless him for making some big career changes for our family, but it also meant he was gone from 4 a.m. to 10 p.m. And so on top of being thrown into being back home full time, I didn't have his help except on the weekends, but on the weekends he was actually studying a lot for something that he was going to school for. So it was just a lot of things at once, and then first trimester pregnant. So this literally could not have come at a better time. When I started drinking it, it was giving me like the good and clean energy, and it was like, when I drank it, it was almost like this euphoric, like I just feel good, and I don't know how to explain it other than thinking to myself, I agree with all those testimonials I saw where people were like, it just makes you happy. And I'm like, that sounds crazy. But I mean, happiness is literally a result of like chemical releases in the brain. So it makes sense that it can be essentially controlled. And of course, we are happy, we're grateful for our kids and our life and all of that, but sometimes it can be really swallowed up by other things that come as a result of overwhelm and mom life and all of that. So a week or two later, I started noticing, like I said, the positive effects that I had read about, and I was actually surprised to be experiencing all of that so soon. So that was very exciting. And then I'd say probably like a month later after that, I was like, there wasn't a single day where I accidentally yelled at my kids. There wasn't a single day where I couldn't get up from resting because I just was like, I don't feel like doing anything. I didn't have any of that anymore. And I'm telling you, it was night and day. It wasn't like, I don't believe it was a coincidence. I believe it was from drinking this. And then other things I was noticing was that my other pregnancies, I had a lot of like joint pain, really uncomfortable round ligament pain, especially with my last pregnancy. And none of that has been a thing this go around. And I have read so much about like inflammation being reduced for people from drinking this. So then I took a little break from drinking it because I honestly was just like, let's just see if this is a coincidence or a placebo effect. So partly I took a break for that reason, and partly because I just wasn't in a position to like do my monthly subscription yet. So I was like, we're gonna be out for a couple weeks, but it's fine. And a few days of that was okay. But then very shortly after, I had the major exhaustion again. I was actually nauseous, even though I was well into my second trimester. I had like pregnancy nausea, which I remember I do usually have with my other pregnancies up till maybe like 18 weeks, but I didn't this time right after like 10 weeks. So when I was drinking this, I still had off and on nausea, but the exhaustion wasn't there. The mood stuff wasn't there. But once I stopped it, the nausea came back, the exhaustion came back, the irritability, I had my moments of like regret where I like lashed out or something or hid away because I was overwhelmed. These things that we're not proud to talk about, but I am, because this helped me so, so much. And the fact that I stopped it and those things all came flooding back. Stomach pain, I have the worst stomach pain when I'm pregnant, sometimes not pregnant, but mostly pregnant. I've seen like a natural chiropractor for it where he tests like, oh yeah, you have this thing with your ileocecal valve or whatever, and you just get like super backed up. So like my side always hurts and I have to lay on my side. My last pregnancy, it was like every day I had to lay down at some point from the pain. And this time it's not been a thing. And I actually realized I think it's from coffee, because yesterday I splurged on a drive-through coffee and I had the stomach pain. So I'm like, okay, coffee does me no good. So even though I'm feeling better now and I could be drinking coffee, I don't, because it's not doing me any good. It's giving me like jitters and stomach pain, like anxiety a little bit. So eliminating that and implementing this, watching all of the symptoms that I was not a fan of, like really, it wasn't myself. I didn't know what to do about it. Watching all of those go away. And it isn't like, oh, this thing is like hocus pocus. No, it really is just like balancing and resetting things to the way that they should be, to the way that we deserve for them to be. And so I feel more myself now than ever. Anyways, so yes, I've been promoting Happy Juice because holy moly, it has rocked my world. And there's even been people who have signed up under me to also promote it because, you know, from a stay-at-home mom standpoint in this crazy economy, I'm like, if there's something that you need to, you know, want to be doing to make a little extra something, this is something that is seriously like for everyone. And the business model, the compensation plan is all like ridiculous. I've done many MLMs before, kind of swore them off actually for many different reasons, and told myself the only way I would ever consider signing up for another one is if it's some kind of unicorn product and if there's a way to go about doing it that isn't like insanely tedious where you're glued to your phone. And it hasn't been. The product sells itself, the results sell themselves. It has seriously been such a blessing for me. So just wanted to share, that's what I've been drinking. That's what I feel like has made for some very successful months for me. I've been able to launch all these different things for my business, like digital product that I've been putting off for years. My affiliate marketing is taking off. This is taking off. Just household like goals and chores and personal goals. Everything is doing well, very well. And it's all like extra well because of such an outlook of like gratitude and just feeling good. It's amazing. I don't ever want to go back to the days where I am like, why am I feeling this way? Why am I thinking this way? Why am I saying these things? Or maybe not saying them, but thinking them, and just like, you know, that's not you. You don't want to think that way. Anyways, thank you, Happy Juice. Yes, it's pregnancy safe and breastfeeding safe. And there are so many testimonials about moms who've had it on a pregnancy versus not on a pregnancy, like me. And then moms who talk about having their baby while they were drinking happy juice, not like while they're drinking happy juice, but they've been drinking happy juice and then they have their baby. And comments like midwives saying like, that is the healthiest placenta I've ever seen, or their postpartum recovery going that much better because it is balancing your hormones. So it helps support you during that crazy phase of like all the hormones from pregnancy and then the major drop of hormones, all the things. So enough of that. I didn't even mean for it to be this long, but wanted to share that. And you just let me know if you're interested as either a customer or a brand partner to sell with Amare. The company Amare is Latin for to love. And the idea is that you cannot love and pour into your loved ones unless you take care of yourself. So love yourself and love others. Obviously, first and foremost, love God, but I thought it was pretty beautiful when I found out what that meant. So without further ado, cheers to the deliciousness that has changed my life.